Good evening, madam. So today my group will be presenting about mental health among children. These are my group members, me Satya Seelan, Kandan Raj, Christopher. Now I will be presenting about why mental health among children is important and ways to handle them. Child mental health was the hottest subject in today's world and the country as well. Health is critical not only for ordinary people but also for young people, particularly children. When compared to adults, children are more vulnerable to mental health problems. Children have suffered by mental health problems due to a variety of factors. In the treatment and management of their mental health, children were under pressure. The current issue, which are continuing problems, have also impacted children's mental health. Many reasons can be shown to support that children's mental health is important. When the pressure of study becomes too high, many children become stressed and fall into depression, unable to fight it. The pressure might come from multiple sources, including parents and teachers who cultivate them vigorously to enhance performance in studies. Children, like most adults, have problems related to their personal life in which they fail to prioritize their mental health. Some children are subjected to enormous pressure from their parents in the name to shaping their virtues to be a better person. Freedom being restricted beyond limits by their parents has adverse effects on the children's mental health, and this must be rectified and solved. Children being influenced by their friends into bad habits such as drug addiction and smoking becomes one of the important reasons of why their mental health is affected. These habits do not only damage physical health but also result in inevitable addiction, which adversely affects their mental state. Children do not understand the negative effects, therefore get trapped into such habits. Many children commit suicide under pressure from academic findings in developing countries. Besides that, many parents expect their children to achieve outstanding results, and these children will be affected with if they get less than their parents anticipated. These children then commit suicides so that such consequences do not occur. There are many ways in which we can discuss and help to reduce mental health problems in children. One of that we will advise and explain how to treat depression and stress for affected children properly. We may also take children to counselors and advisors whom are licensed. Another thing we can do or to handle the mental health issues among children is to give encouragement to children so the children will not be pressured into doing something. Parents also should not pressure their children too much with the high expectation and must understand that children can only do what they are capable of. To avoid mental health problems in children, the education system in every country and region of the world should be updated. Children should not be subjected to too many tests young age at such a young age. Instead, they should be evaluated in a particular way. Finally, in order to avoid mental health problems in children, children should be given more attention and parents should spend more time with their children. Parents should also avoid being too hard on their children when they perform poorly in something, especially in school. This will reduce the number of child suicides. In conclusion, there are many approaches to addressing children's mental health problems. It is the responsibility of parents, counselors, therapists, and to ensure that children are free of mental health problems and to take the appropriate steps to avoid mental health issues in children. Thank you.
My name is Kandanraj and I am going to present about OCD in children. OCD in children, the definition of OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder and it's a pattern of unwanted thoughts or sensations that lead to anxiety, sensation, also repetitive behaviors aimed at cancelling out. Usually, these unwanted thoughts are called obsessions. Unmarked, repetitive behaviors or mental acts are called compulsions. Children with OCD may compulsively wash their hands, lock and relock doors a certain number of times, line up objects, or touch parts of their bodies symmetrically in order to neutralize a fear and make themselves comfortable. They may also repeatedly ask questions and seek reassurance. Common myth of OCD is that OCD means being really neat and orderly. Sometimes OCD behaviors may involve cleaning, but many times someone with OCD is too focused on one thing that must be done over and over rather than being organized. Obsessions and compulsions can also change over time. Of mental health disorders, particularly OCD, related family members are also at an increased risk of developing OCD. For children, a family history of OCD is particularly relevant if a parent or sibling also has OCD, as it tends to develop in families. The familial pattern of OCD suggests a genetic component, though there are no genes that have been identified to be related to OCD at this point. When discussing nature versus nurture, it is important to note that the environment plays a role as well. For traumatic experience, any child who is exposed to traumatic events could develop obsessions. Children may develop OCD in efforts to control future events and prevent these bad outcomes from taking place again. Children who undergo stressful life events, one more likely to develop OCD as well. Also typically focus on future uncertainties and attempts to lessen them. The life events that could trigger OCD include having parents go through a messy divorce, having accidents at a young age, child abuse, exposure to domestic violence, and growing up in a war-torn area. Another risk factor of OCD is the presence of other mental health disorders, often called comorbid or co-occurring conditions. ADHD is well known for the disruption it causes at school and work. Both disorders can affect your ability to pay attention. Both also impact relationships with family, friends, and others. Both also can trigger anger, anxiety, and depression, stress, and can make symptoms of ADHD and OCD worse. In some cases, also ADHD and OCD may lead to depression, sleep problems, gastrointestinal issues, chronic constipation, and irritable bowel syndrome. For the treatment of OCD, the first step is to talk with a healthcare provider to arrange an evaluation. CBT therapy so cognitive behavior therapy helps the child to charge negative thoughts into more positive, effective ways of thinking, leading to more effective behavior. Certain psychiatric medications can also help children control the obsessions and compulsions that go along with OCD. Anaframil, which is also called clomipramine, is used in children 10 years of age or older. Fluoxamine, Prozac, and Zoloft, and also sertraline is also used. It's not known exactly why some children develop OCD. There is likely to be a biological and neurological component, and some children with OCD also have Tourette syndrome or other tic disorders. There are some studies that suggest that health problems during pregnancy and birth may make OCD more likely, which is one of the many important reasons to support the health of women in pregnancy. Prevention of OCD is also a psychotherapeutic technique called exposure and response prevention. This technique introduces the child to the objects of his obsession in incremental doses in a controlled environment in which they can experience their anxiety and distress without resorting to compulsions. That's all. Thank you very much.
Greetings, Doctor. My name is Christopher Analaki Jido Agnelo Ratnam, and my student ID is 2018000207. Today I'll be presenting my topic, which is the impacts of COVID-19 on mental health among Malaysians. The first one is introduction. COVID-19 pandemic is spreading worldwide, and there is indeed an emergency in most nations around the globe, including Malaysia itself, that may lead to huge deaths and morbidity. By Kanegar and Sharma 2020, the world is now confronted with severe and unexpected shift in everyday life following the COVID-19 deadly virus in 2019. These outside circumstances will affect the children's, adolescents, adult, and the elderly mental health. Furthermore, the national actions such as the Movement Control Order (MCO), psychological and social distancing, and the cancellation of schools and work may influence cognitive well-being of Malaysians for the long term and for the short term as well. Next is the actions taken by the government that affects the mental health of Malaysians indirectly. The first one is social distancing. Social distancing has consequences for mental well-being, including terror, distress, sorrow, or depression by Nishi 2020. Julian and co-workers confirmed that the death rate of people with social isolation escalated to 29%. Social separation could also interrupt the social cycle by adding pressure to an individual management mechanism with stress, therefore destroying an individual's mental well-being. Second one is Movement Control Order (MCO). It restricts one external activity and public events. Not only that, MCO also threatens one's employment status. The third one is many non-essential companies are being pressured to stop. Next is this has caused Malaysians to financially to be unstable, especially the most populated group categories, B40 and M40 in Malaysia. This has led some of them to become poor and led to poverty. Due to the economic crisis, many of them have depression, such as post-traumatic disorder by Sun 2020. Next is closing down schools and universities. Due to the lockdown imposed by the government, students nationally and internationally have been experiencing mental breakdown due to the pressure of coping up with their studies. Early 2021. Throughout the COVID-19 disease outbreak, such as adults and young people include changes in their lives, including they have been isolated from their families and peers. This is because students who study in Malaysia are from different states and countries, and this has led to many students end up having post-traumatic stress disorder, and it will simply cause them to be more restless and there will be change in their behavior. Their sleep patterns will change and they might be having nightmares about it by Salgado 2020. And in some cases, they might be aggressive due to the distress that they might be experiencing. Next is stress and abuse. First one is due to the pressure that has been inflicted upon students due to the COVID-19 lockdown. Many individuals have resorted to drug abuse. This can be related to individuals who lost their jobs or loved ones or students who failed in their subjects. They cope up with their daily stress by consuming alcohol or drugs make themselves feel better. This is their form of self-medication by Rahman and Ang 2021. Many of them do not opt to go therapy sessions as sessions are very expensive. The next one is theories related to COVID-19 pandemic. The first theory of COVID-19 pandemic is social support. That is the assistance that interpersonal relations can provide. Most social support is divided into 4 groups: information assistance, emotional aid, assessment assistance, instrumental aid, and in order to mitigate negative emotions, an individual requires supportive care. Second theory is COVID-19 sense of coherence by Salgado 2020. Comprising manageable and meaningful are 3 points of sense of coherence. Such a mentality is essential not just for resolving negative emotions as well as in thriving in life, coping with the associated COVID-19 disruption. The next one is the theory of hardiness by Wang 2020. There are 3 attributes that increase our coping skills, which is control, commitment, and the last one is challenge. These are the references, Doctor. That's all from me, Doctor. Thank you.